My son told me I was too ugly to attend his wedding, so I changed my will and left him nothing. I've waited 2 weeks to say this out loud. Every time I try, I either get angry or start crying, but I need to get it out. I need you to hear it. He came over on a Tuesday. I had cookies out, tea brewing, like I always do. He didn't look at either, just sat on the edge of my couch and said I shouldn't come to the wedding. "It's a curated event," he said. "Modern aesthetic. You've been sick. The scarf, the chemo, the coughing. It might make guests uncomfortable." Make guests uncomfortable at my own son's wedding. Before I could even process it, his fiancée Kendra walked right in, looked around my living room like she was appraising it. Then she smiled and said, "Maybe after the honeymoon, we should look into long-term care options for you, somewhere peaceful." In my own house. She meant a nursing home. Tobias didn't correct her. He just kissed the top of my head like he was practicing a goodbye he'd already decided on. Then they left, and I was alone with untouched cookies and silence. Let me back up. I'm Clara. I'm 75. I've lived in this same Atlanta house for 31 years, raised Tobias alone after his father walked out when he was 4. I worked hospital housekeeping for 22 years, night shifts, shoes worn through. I said no to myself. So many times it became my default. But here's what nobody knew. I was quietly building something. Bought my first rental in my late 30s, fixed it up on weekends, then another, then a third, invested in a salon my church friend Sheila was starting. I never talked about it, never flaunted it. I still clipped coupons. I still wore old shoes, because it was never for me. It was always for him. I'd even written him birthday letters for every year until he turned 50. All of it was going to be his. I'd been planning that surprise for 20 years. Then that Tuesday happened. But the worst part? Right before he left, he turned at the door and said, "This is why Dad left you." Lord. He said it like he'd been saving it, like it was a weapon. His father didn't leave because of me. He left because he didn't want the work of being a father or a husband. I protected that truth for 20 years, giving Tobias the gentler version, and Tobias used it to cut me. Something shifted that night. Not anger, something quieter, colder, more permanent. The kind of shift that happens when you finally stop pretending about something you've known for years. I went to my closet, pulled out the filing cabinet. Inside was a folder labeled Final. My will. Bank statements, property deeds, balances that would shock anyone who watched me clip coupons all those years. And right at the top of the beneficiary line, Tobias's name. I sat there long enough for the house to grow cold. Then I tore it up, quarters, then smaller, held the pieces in my palm. The air in that room actually felt lighter. Next morning, I called Monique, my best friend of 56 years. I told her everything. She paused, then said, "Clara, I saw the wedding announcement. Your name wasn't on it anywhere." I said, "I know. I need to rewrite the will." She asked if I was sure. I told her, "I may be dying, but I'm not dead yet. And today, I'm taking back what belongs to me. Let me be clear. I'm not bitter. I'm protected. That money was mine. Built on night shifts, coupons, and decades of saying no to myself. The law says I have the absolute right to decide where it goes. Always. If you're a woman watching this, hear me. You have the right to change your will at any time, for any reason. Blood doesn't override that. A good estate lawyer makes it airtight. Update your documents. Life changes. People change. Your paperwork should reflect who you are now, not who you were before they showed you their true colors. Monique came over. We worked in silence. I gave her every account, every deed, every document. At the top of the new will, she wrote one name, the Rose House Foundation, a women's shelter in South Carolina for elderly women abandoned by their families. Women made to feel like burdens just for still being alive. I'd volunteered there years ago. I remember thinking, I never want to be one of these women. Then I became one. I signed with a shaking hand, but steady eyes. Monique sealed it, and asked, "What about the wedding?" I said, "I'm going. Not to ruin their day. I just want to see it with my own eyes. And when it's over, I want him to know what I decided." 4 days before the wedding, an invitation arrived from my cousin Renee. "Please sit in the designated family section and respect the couple's wishes. Quietly, of course." Quietly, of course. I read it twice and knew I was going, not for them, for me. I'd shown up for that boy every single day of his life. I wasn't about to let the last image of me be a woman who stayed home. Wedding day, I wore my soft gray suit, wrapped my head in my blue scarf with silver threading, pinned on my mother's silver dove brooch. I looked smaller, more fragile, but my eyes were still mine. Monique arrived in her navy pantsuit, briefcase in hand. She had the envelope with Tobias's name. I handed her a smaller one. "For Kendra, after." She asked if I was strong enough. I said, "I just need to see it once. That's all." The vineyard was beautiful. White tents, string lights, a string quartet. I sat in the third row, exactly where they put me. Invisible. Tobias walked down the aisle looking sharp, proud, handsome. My breath caught. That's still my son. Kendra followed, stunning in her dress. I understood why he chose her. Understanding. Didn't make it okay, but I saw it. The vows were long. Tobias shifted when they talked about honoring those who shaped you. He didn't look back, but he shifted. I noticed. They kissed. Everyone stood. I stayed seated. Not out of spite. I just didn't have the energy to perform joy for strangers. Monique leaned over. "Want me to go now?" I nodded. She walked toward them. Calm, purposeful. No drama. Kendra saw her first. Confused. Tobias's smile froze. Monique said, "Congratulations. This is from your mother." Handed him the envelope. Handed Kendra the smaller one. Turned. Walked back to me. I watched him open it from across the vineyard. Confusion first. Then the ground dropping out from under him. He looked up. Our eyes met across all that curated elegance. I didn't wave, didn't smile, didn't give him a reaction to work with. I picked up my cane, walked to the car. I'd been there. I'd seen it. I was done. Monique told me exactly what happened. Tobias stood there, pages shaking, cycling through disbelief. The new will was inside. My letter, every document showing everything I'd built was going to the shelter, not a dollar to him. Kendra's note was short. "If you married Tobias thinking you were getting something, make other plans. He has nothing now. He earned exactly what he got." Monique said Kendra's face fell. Things unraveled, not because I orchestrated it. Because the truth lands hard on people who built their lives on assumptions. I was already home, drinking tea by the window. I'd left my blue scarf on the chair. Didn't need it anymore. Let them wonder. 3 days later, he called. I answered. I'm still his mother. That hasn't changed. His voice was shaking. "Mama, what did you do?" I said, "I updated my will, Tobias. I had every right to." He said, "I can't believe you'd do this to me." I could have gotten loud. Could have listed every shoe I wore through, every birthday letter I burned, every dollar I scraped from hospital floors so he wouldn't have to. I didn't. I said, "You sat on my couch and told me I'd ruin your wedding just by being there. Your fiancé suggested I be put in a facility while I sat right in front of you. You stood there and let her say it. That's what I'm responding to. I'm not calling it cruelty. I'm calling it information. You showed me who you are. I made my decision based on that," he whispered. "Mama, please." I said, "I love you. Always. But love doesn't mean I hand everything I built to someone who made me feel like I was ruining a room just by existing in it." Then I hung up. I sat there afterward, asking myself if I did the right thing. Then I remembered Kendra's words, Tobias's silence. The answer came back the same. Months later, the Rose House Foundation renamed their main building Massey Hall. Women started sharing their stories online, It spread further than I expected. I didn't ask for it, but I'm glad it happened. If one woman watching this understands she has the right to change her mind about her legacy, then something good came from my pain. Let me be clear. I wasn't punishing Tobias. I was a 75-year-old woman with a terminal diagnosis who looked at her legal documents and realized they no longer reflected her truth. So she changed them, that's all. If you have a will in a drawer, look at it, update it, make it reflect who you are now, not who you were before they showed you their colors. The cancer went into remission 6 months later. I didn't call Tobias to tell him. That news belonged to me, Monique, Sheila, and the nurses who brought me warm blankets and actually asked how I was doing. It didn't belong to someone who hadn't called once. I'm still in Atlanta, still in this house, still clipping coupons. But here's what's different. I sleep well. I wake up, make my tea, sit by this window, and I don't feel like I'm apologizing for taking up space. I don't feel like I'm managing how much of myself I show so others stay comfortable. I don't feel like the wrong thing in someone else's carefully arranged room. That's what peace feels like when you finally stop spending it on people who didn't earn it. Have you ever given someone everything you had only to realize they were keeping score of the wrong things? I know I'm not alone. Drop it in the comments. And if you're in a situation where someone in your life is making you feel like a burden, an inconvenience, or an embarrassment, hear this from a 75-year-old woman in Atlanta. You are none of those things. You are a person with a name, rights, and a life that belongs to you. Nobody gets to write your ending but you. Know what you own. Know what your name is on. Update your paperwork. Protect your peace. I gave Tobias 30 years. I gave the women at Rose House the rest, and I'm at peace with both. My name is Clara. I'm 75. I'm still here, still sipping my tea, still breathing. If this story moved you, share it. There are women out there who need to know it's never too late to take back what's yours.